Hello, this is Dennis Jers at Seton Hill University, and today I'm going to walk you through how to set up your WordPress blog. At the very end of this presentation there'll be a few things that are specific to my own classes, but I'm trying to make this a general enough introduction that anybody at Seton Hill can follow along. Okay, to start off you need to register for your blog, and you do that by going to blog.setonhill, oops, that should be blogs, blogs.setonhill.edu. So here's what it looks like when you first go there. Okay, so you would click here on register and give yourself a username. For your username, please use the format first name, last name, lowercase, no spaces, or you could use the 3 numbers and 4 letters that are part of your email, just don't include the at Seton Hill part. Okay? So do understand that if you're setting up a personal site for yourself, you will be blogging publicly and what you write will be attached to your name. That being said, don't write anything that you don't want the outside world to see. That I've set up my username, use your actual Seton Hill email address, otherwise the system will reject your application. But if you do register, you will end up getting an email that says something like this. So here is an email that says I've created a new blog, and it would have the username. That's not actually my password, but you will have your username and password. And so you would log in by getting that. Here is where we see what Griff's, I call it Griff's video game blog. You can call yours whatever you want, but this is the default setup for WordPress. So the address here, now this is what the outside world sees when they visit your blog. And in order to work on it as the author, you need to log in. So we click here on login, and here's where you would type the same username and password that you just check your email. So go ahead and I'm going to log in on that. And now we see a screen that shows me that I'm looking at Griff's video game blog. This is the dashboard, and we see some stats and a whole bunch of options. And the main things that I think you need to note is that this page here is your editing view. Only you see this information. So if I want to take a look at the posts that are available, I can click here, I get a list of all posts. Well, there's only one post. It's a Hello World post that WordPress generates for you automatically. I'll show you another view of that. This is the main page for the blog, and this is an individual post on the blog. Now notice this URL. If you want to tell somebody else, come look at my blog, you would give them this URL. This is really the address of, you could think of this as your feed. If, however, you want somebody to take a look at a particular item you wrote on your blog, you would need this permalink. So you click here and notice this URL, I've got this blog set up by default. It includes the date of the posting, it includes a brief version of the title. So as you can see, this URL is longer and more specific than the URL that we had previously. And in this view, we can see that WordPress has provided us with a sample comment. So, and this stuff up right here, this stuff is only visible when I'm logged in. These are some tools for you to work on, and you can, add a new post. There are a bunch of other things that you can do up here, which you're welcome to explore on your own. Now, if you'd like, you can go back here to the dashboard, or you can go to the home page like this and then go down here to Site Admin. Either way, you end up in the same place. So if I wanted to change my information, I click here on Settings, and here's a site title. I can call it whatever I want. Can call it anything at all. This just another site. You can call yours whatever you want. Time zone, set this to New York in order to make sure that it stays up to date with daylight savings time and all that kind of stuff. And You can pick whatever date format that you like. I like starting my day of the week on Sundays. You're welcome to do however you wish on this. This is really all yours to figure out with. Oh, I'm sorry. I made some changes here. I need to save these changes or else they won't be working. This thing here, don't forget about this when it says your ASCII API key. If your blog starts getting hit with spam, a whole lot of spam comments, which is quite likely, let me know and I will tell you what to do. You can just leave this alone for now. Okay, so if you want to change the appearance of your blog, you can come here to Themes, and there are a couple dozen themes for you to pick, and I will let you play around and experiment with that. You are welcome to make whatever changes you like. You really can't ruin this at all. You really can't damage it. So have fun with that, or just leave it by default. Either is fine. Okay, so now what I'd like for you to do, I want to go over briefly the difference between. Here, let's get back to the main page. I want to go over the difference between pages and posts. In loosely speaking, anything that appears on a website you can call a web page. But as far as WordPress is concerned, there's sort of two different flavors of texts, of documents that you can post on your site. One here is called a sample page. If I click on this sample page, it just simply says, here it's a fake autobiography that comes with the site. The idea is pages that you create will, in this theme anyway, in this setup, will appear as items on this black bar and will appear on every single page on your site. So generally this would be good for an About Me page, or if you have a frequently asked question page or something like that. Posts, however, are dated, and in a few, after you've posted a few entries on your site, you'll see, just like in any social networking site, the most current stuff appears at the top, your older stuff will start sliding down, and will eventually only be accessible over here on these archives. One of the important differences between a weblog and something like Twitter or Facebook is Twitter and Facebook depend upon people churning out a whole lot of new content. Well, a blog does the same thing, but it's only your own content that is going to push your older stuff off the top of the page. So, in general, when you're blogging, the idea is you're blogging with an understanding that your audience on your blog and you yourself have direct, easy access to the older things that you've written about a topic. Blogs are typically good for making a comment about something that you find elsewhere on the internet. And when you do that, it's a good idea to include a link to whatever it is that you're talking about. Okay, so this sample page we see here is sample information. I'll just show you. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to delete this and show you how to create a new one yourself. You see here, here's this item that allows you to edit page. There's also a link here that allows you to edit. You'll see those when you are logged in. But instead, I'm going to go to the dashboard. I'm going to go here to page. I could get pages over here as well, but I'm going to go right here to list of pages. And I'm just going to delete this page right now. Send it to the trash. Okay. Later you can empty the trash if you want. But let's now go up here to the new button. I could add a new page here, but I'm going to do it here. Add new page. I'm going to call this page About Me, but you can call it whatever you wish. Okay, so whatever. You can put whatever you wish here. And let's go ahead and publish it. And now when you, we can view the page right here. You can do it that way. Instead, I'm going to go back up here to visit the site. And you see now, whereas previously it said sample page, now it says About Me. Now notice that About Me, the only place that that page appears is here in this horizontal bar. Okay, I'm going to do something a little different now. I'm going to, I can go here and edit this individual post that says hello world. I can again click this edit button, I can click this edit button, either one is fine. I'm going to edit this page, and let's just say change the title. There, I just changed the title, and I can preview it if I want. If I'm working on something, I could well, let's just update it. It's already published, so we'll update it. Okay, so I can go here and view this specific post directly. Here I go back to the home page, and we see I've changed that title. Okay, I could also go directly in from here, and I could change the title again. I could change the text again, but instead I'm going to trash this, and I'm just going to create a brand new post. Now remember, if I created a page, that's going to be something that's visible without a date, that will be visible on every page from the site. I'm going to create a post. Most of the content that's valuable on blogs is in posts. Okay, so I'm going to post a welcome post, my own, to my welcome to my blog, and okay, here's where I would type something interesting. Let's say I'm going through a detailed assignment and I'm in the middle of writing it, I'm not finished, and I get interrupted. Well, a good thing to do is to click here and click on Save Draft. Okay, it's now in the database, but I can shut off this computer, the power goes out or whatever, and I will be able to find this draft. How do you find the draft? Let's go here to All Posts. You can see a list, or clicking on Dashboard. It says I have 0 posts because that's because I have 0 published posts. I click on that and I get a more full list that indicates that this is a draft. So in order to edit this, finish working on it, I come here. Oops. Okay, now I finished this assignment, and I can come here and publish that assignment. Okay, so let's create another post. Okay, here's the next post that I've created. And I don't need to save it as a draft. I don't have to. I can just go directly to publish. So now I've created 2 posts. I'm going to go visit the site, and you can see my first post is slid a little bit down on the page. The second one is up higher. Okay, so you see new content appears up at the top of the page. Again, if you're at all familiar with any kind of social networking tool, that's going to be very familiar to you. This URL is good for sharing the entire blog, and when I go to this URL, I will see the most current stuff up here. But if I want to tell someone to look only at this page, I need to click on this page and get the permalink, which again has the date in it. So this is the URL that I need to show somebody if I want to say, here I did my homework, or here I want you to look at this. That's the URL that I need. Be careful that if you are sharing your post, let's say I'm here, I've clicked on this, I'm working on it, I'm really excited about it, I publish it. If I want to share this URL, notice this URL has some post.php and some numbers in it. This URL will not actually be a good URL for you to send out and to, publish on a course website or ask somebody else to look at, because somebody will have to log in with your user ID and password in order to see this page. So just understand that if you are trying to share your work, giving them a URL that has this WP admin and code stuff in it is not the URL that you want to share. You want to share this one that looks a little bit prettier. Let's take a look now at comments. Right now we have no comments, so I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to post a comment. I'll go to my main page. Let's say I go here, and this is because I'm logged in as myself, as the administrator, I can just go ahead and type this, and it's not a big deal. So I just type So I've left a comment on this particular post, and I post the comment. Okay, all right. Not a terribly big deal. Now, if I want to reply to this particular comment, I click on that. If I want to start a new thread, I click on that. Okay, so that's nothing striking. But I'll show you, if you go back to the dashboard, now we see there's one comment. It might be that a bot out there on the internet will find the URL of your blog and start trying to sell you, try to post links to, insurance companies or real estate agents, or there are all kinds of spammers who will do that. It's nothing personal. Your site hasn't been hacked. Just identify that comment as spam, and if you have 50 or 20 of them or 30 of them, let me know that you're being hammered with spam, and I can kind of up the security on your site. Okay, a couple more things to do. Here under Dashboard Settings, let's go to Discussion, and go ahead and down here where it says Track Back and Ping Back Whitelist, add setonhill.edu in this box and automatically approve trackbacks and pingbacks from this blog. What these two steps will do, it will increase your blog's ability to talk to other blogs on the Seton Hill set of blogs. So it's kind of, technical, boring background stuff, but please do that. It'll just make it easier for your blog to communicate with other blogs. All right, so I'm going to save those changes. Now I'm going to show you how to add a hyperlink. Let's go to Posts. We'll go to the Welcome to My Blog. And it's really quite easy. It's not coding. You select the text that you want, click this thing right here, which is Insert Edit Link, and then you would type the URL. That's really all there is to it. If you are blogging about something in specific, I don't know, let's see, go to CNN, and let's see, I don't know, I'm doing video games, so let's see, type in, I'm going to do search for video games, and I have computer games. Oh, we got, maybe it doesn't like video games. Journalists like running those two words together. There we go. Okay. All right. So, new video gamer, Africa needs technology. Hey, all right. So if I want to blog about this, I would copy that URL, come over here and say, okay, so I add some, call it a news article about video game in Africa. This thing right here where it says hyperlink and you point it to a site, that's really kind of boring because hyperlink doesn't explain what's on the other side of the link. This is a descriptive set of text that will really help the reader understand what am I going to get if I click on this link. So although this does allow you to add a hyperlink, it's not as nice as this. And in a pinch, you could just use that URL, and yes, your reader would be able to find that article, but it's a pain for, well, I'll just show you this. Let's publish this, update this. Just take a view this post. Here when I see this word hyperlink, I don't know what's there until I click on it. So I'm going to be less likely to click on that. We've all been tricked by advertisements that look like something interesting. We click on it, we see it's something that we don't like, and we're upset. This informative text helps me understand what's going to happen when I click on that link. This right here, not only is it not a link, it's also hard to read. Yes, I can copy it or I can search for that URL and paste it up here and go to the site that way, but it's a lot less user-friendly. So try to do this. Try to write descriptive text that explains what's on the other end of the link and add your hyperlink that way. Okay? Okay, so now here comes sort of the test. I'm going to come over here, I'm going to log out, and now here's how I will show you how to get back into that address or that blog. So we go to blogs.setonhill.edu. I go here and I log in. Now, I've got my browser window set up to fill out this information, but here's where you would go ahead and type in the username and the password that you already used to set up your blog. I click here on Login, and as it happens, I have a whole bunch of blogs on this site. So you probably would be dumped right in your in whatever site you just created first, but I have so many sites to pick from. Which one did I call? Power Up Central. That is the one that I just added for Griff Hill. So I'm going to pick here on Power Up Central. And now this is the editing screen. If I want to review the posts I've already written, I can do that. Here, remember, there was one that I trashed. We can empty the trash here. You can see now there's a comment. Here's where if a comment comes in and it's being held because the system doesn't know whether it's good or not, here's where you would approve a comment if necessary. Okay, so I'm gonna log back out again. If you are just checking out the Seton Hill blogosphere for whatever reason and you're not in one of my classes, then this tutorial is over for you. But if you are in one of my classes, I want to take you through the process of using the Blog Me button on the course website. So let's go to the site that I'll be using right now is Games. You know, obviously you would use the URL for whatever class we're talking about. I'm assuming that I might use this video again for different classes, but for now it's the video game class that I'm demonstrating. And some of the items on this course, when you click on it, you see it's got this sign in button right here. This item that says blog, it tells you this assignment, there's some kind of homework that's related to blogging. What I'm trying to do is encourage you to create a two-way link between this page on the course website and the page that you create in response to this assignment. That will encourage people to move back and forth from this site to what you've written and from what you've written back to this site. The internet likes two-way connections. Google finds two-way connections valuable and that two pages are identifying that they somehow relate to each other. They belong to each other. And Google likes seeing networks of closely connected pages. So it's also the way that you can find out what your peers have written on this particular topic, and I can find what you've written without having to go through the individual blog of every student on the site and hunt for your homework. If you haven't logged out, you might see this instead as a Blog Me button, and that's fine, but we'll assume that you logged out of the previous step, and we'll start by clicking Sign In. And here's where you enter the same credentials that you would create for your blog. And now, okay, so I've just logged in. What I need to do is click the Go Back button. And here we are back on this page, and now see that button has changed to Blog Me. The assignment here is to use the Blog Me button, and you'll see what happens. For other assignments, usually it will be I'll be asking you, give me your opinion about this reading or something like that. But for now, all I'm asking you to do is click this Blog Me button, and you'll see what happens. It creates a page, and for me it's on my site. You will see your username right here. Whatever username you chose, it has to be that username, otherwise this won't work. Okay? So what it does is it has now created an entry on my blog that includes a link back to the page where you just clicked that Blog Me button. I'm going to let you read all this stuff yourself, but in general, I'm simply going to ask you to, here I'm going to say, oops. Okay, and again, the two-way link is not only to show Google that the pages that your pages and the course page are related to each other. It's also a way for your classmates and me to find out what you've written. Okay, so I am ready now to publish this, and you'll see what it does. Okay, so this was my practice site under the JERS name because I was logged in with my username JERS. And here we see the title, Tools Walkthrough 1. There's a link, and when you click on this link, it will take you back to this page. This is the proper page on the course website where we set up that blog me button in the first place. I'm going to hit go back now, and I am now on the page that I just created on my site after clicking that blog me button. So I've completed the first step, and then I've created a link from my site back to the course page. And here's where, instead of just saying I'm testing the blog me button, I would answer whatever question, or I would give a quote from the assigned readings, or do whatever assignment I'm supposed to do. But it ends with a link back to the page that says what I'm blogging about. So I want to take this URL. I'm going to copy that URL. And notice it's not the editing URL. It's not that long URL that has the WP admin with a bunch of numbers in it. It's a nice readable URL that has today's date in it. So I've copied that URL. I'm going to go to this page, back to the course website, and I'm going to post a comment. And I'm going to say, now, and I paste that URL. I don't have to do anything to turn it into a link. That will become a link when I post the comment. Okay, so, well, before I post this, if I simply were to say, here's my homework, or, read this, that's really pretty boring. It's pretty dry. Here is your opportunity to say something clever or insightful or even surprising. Here's your opportunity to encourage your classmates to read what you wrote. Now, if you write, okay, hey guys, read my homework, that's pretty boring. But if you write, why I learned to love 2D platformers. Okay. Something that tells people whatever it is that you wrote about. That's far better than simply just posting the URL, and it's far better than simply just saying, hey guys, look at what I wrote. So I'm going to undo that. So I click Post Comment, and now what we see here is on the course website, we have a two-way link that's established. It started by clicking the login button, and then it went to blog me. I clicked that blog me button. That gave me a page that included a link from my blog back to this site. The second part is this is creating the two-way link. I've posted the right URL on this page. In the future, when I actually ask you to write about something of significance, here we will see, here's your chance to introduce the class to what your response was. So I click on here, and that takes me directly to this page. Okay, so now I've set up the two-way link. There's nothing stopping me after I've set up that two-way link to go in and, let's say I read what other people are saying and I realize, my response was really kind of too short, or I've got some better ideas now. I can always go through and I can add more details now on this site, and I update that. And then, so let's say now I've gone back and I've added some more details to this page. I don't need to do anything else over here. This link will still point to that updated page. But who knows? What if I change my mind and I want to say something else? I could post another comment saying, I've updated that page. So happy blogging, and I'll hear from you all soon.